Although a prison sentence can seem like the ending of your life, life has to go on behind bars. Sometimes the life that continues behind bars is very similar to the one that was led before going into prison. Prison tattoos can tell us a lot about inmates. We can learn what gangs they're affiliated with, how long they've been in prison for, and what they went into prison for in the first place. Identifying each prison tattoo can help divide the inmates and keep the prison guards safer. Usually, with the placement of the tattoos, the prisoners make it very straightforwardly known what they've been in for. It seems odd that someone can get a tattoo in prison since they need to be done with needles. So before we can understand what each prison tattoo means, we need to understand how they're different from outside tattoos in terms of producing them. According to Business Insider and LoveToKnow.com, most prison tattoos are made from pens and paper clips. First, they take the cartridge containing the ink out of the pen. They replace that with the paperclip and then hook that up to a motor from a CD player, which they can purchase in the commissary. The ink that they previously took out of the pen is now the ink that's going to be used to put into the tattoo. This picture, taken from Business Insider's website, shows us what the prison tattoo gun actually looks like. Obviously, getting tattooed from a pen and a paperclip is not ideal. Many prison tattoos scar very badly or become infected. First, we'll take a look at gang-affiliated or racist tattoos. All of this information was taken from corrections1.com. Numbers are a very big part in identifying gangs in prison. For example, the number 1488 represents a white supremacist group. 14 represents the number of words in a Nazi quote, while 88 represents the 8th letter of the alphabet twice, HH for Hail Hitler. The number 5 is associated with the People Nation gang. The Latin Kings, which is a Hispanic gang based out of Chicago, affiliates themselves with the People Nation gang. They use a tattoo of a 5-point crown. Lastly, the number 3 is affiliated with a 3-dot tattoo. The 3 dots stand for 3 words, Mi Vida Loca, which translates to My Crazy Life. This isn't associated with any particular gang, but with the gang lifestyle in general. It's generally placed on the hands or the face so it can be easily seen. Next, we'll talk about tattoos that represent the amount of time that you've done in prison. Again, all of this information comes from corrections1.com. A cobweb obviously represents a spider trapping its prey. If you see a cobweb tattoo in prison, it represents the prisoner being trapped behind bars. It's often found on the elbows to show that the prisoner has been sitting so long that a cobweb has formed there. A clock is quite clearly associated with the prisoner doing time. A clock is sometimes tattooed right to the prisoner's wrist as a watch, with watch straps and everything. This shows that prison time is often permanent. A clock tattoo in prison without hands on the clock is very significant. It represents the time never ending in prison or losing track of time. Lastly, we're going to look at tattoos that symbolize reasons for being in prison. These are arguably the most important tattoos to recognize. A teardrop is the most widely known prison tattoo. A simple outline of a teardrop shows that you attempted a murder. A filled-in teardrop shows that you committed a murder. This is obviously very important for staff members of the prison and other inmates to recognize, as it makes you that much more dangerous. It's probably the most widely known tattoo because it's been popularized by celebrities and rappers like Lil Wayne. A deck of cards can come in many forms. Generally, it represents taking life as a gamble. Getting different suits of cards tattooed on you can mean many different things. For example, a spade card represents landing in prison due to stealing. A clubs card represents criminals in general. A diamonds card represents police informants, and a hearts card represents looking for a romantic partner in prison. These two are usually applied with force. There are a lot of tattoos in prison with meanings represented by acronyms or letters, but one of the most widely seen is ACAB, which stands for All Cops Are Bastards. This represents the willingness to do illegal things or to go to jail for your gang. According to Business Insider, an informant from one prison said that when it comes to artwork, the prisoners don't try to beguile one another. We've seen that there are many different prison tattoos with many different meanings used to communicate to others, but knowing the symbolism behind these markings are important for the safety of the prison guards and other inmates. Clearly, there are a lot of ways to define who you are behind the walls of a prison. People are separated by gangs, racism, reasons they go to prison, and many other things. But there is one thing that lets them all get along, and that is the black market of tattoos inside prisons.